Alright, y'all, real quick. Again, it's me, your boy Ace, back with it with some tips about the boy. Right? So I'm actually gonna be talking about staggers and kinda how to apply them with Trunks. Trunks stagger game is actually not as great as a lot of people think. But there's some tricks that you can use to kind of trip up your opponent, right? So just to get straight into it real quick. So of course he has a Shining Slash, right? He's got that, the medium, and then he's got the heavy one as well. Um, that and mainly he has Feint CTF where you do quarter circle back and special and hold special, right? Because if you don't hold special, he does the whole move, and if you hold it, he does the dash, right? And it's gonna be revolving mainly around this specifically, and turning this kind of like into, I guess, like a keeping your opponent on their toes type of deal, right? So if you watch me play a lot, you see that I use this move quite a lot. And people get tripped up by this very quickly because they see that I didn't really press a button, but it's a dash motion. So it's like they're thinking I'm gonna either A, Dragon Rush, or I don't know, like they're gonna try to match me out of this. But by the time they realize that I'm not doing anything, or like I'll do like a move straight into, or I do like a normal straight into this cancel, then they're like, oh shit, I gotta do something, right? But instead, you know, they get bopped because I press 5L or 2L, and then they get counter hit because they're reacting too slow. And I'll show you a couple ways to kind of apply this, right? So real quick, a way that I do this a lot is I do 2L 5L into Feint CTF. This sets up a few options, right? So 2L 5L you can do DR, 2L 5L you can do Shining Slash, you can do medium Shining Slash for plus frames, right? And then you can also do the Feint CTF. Feint CTF is to always restart your string, right? Restart your string to either regen your assist, because this actually takes 26 frames, so you should it should be a big enough stagger for you to get the recharge started. And also to kind of like make it a little bit, you know, harder for your opponent to realize what you're doing, because it looks literally exactly like his dash animation, but it's just the opposite side, right? Because he leads with his left when he dashes, but when he does the command dash or the feint, he actually leads with his right? So a lot of ways that I apply this is in my block strings, and you guys can like slow down the video if I'm moving too quick when I do these block strings, but these are like a lot of ways that I apply this, right? I do 2L 5L like I showed earlier. I do 2L 5L that into 5M, anyway into 5M, right? And I do that, right? Or I do the feint, excuse me, right? I do that. I do this, use my low, and then restart it, right? I do the feint because people always are waiting for his low to stand high, right? But I don't do the low a lot because you lose another option of kind of like your RPS situation, where people, like, if you use your low early, they're just gonna block high after his low because he only has one low. So what I like to use a lot is 2L 5L. Never use my low. I'll never use it really. But what I will do is 2L 5L Shining Slash because I still have the threat of my low, right? Or I'll do a frame trap because this doesn't jail, but they can't press a button out of this string. Or this. His 2L into 2M is a frame trap. His 5L into 2M is a frame trap. And you can also frame trap his 5S and 5H if you delay it slightly. But there's a couple other frame traps you can do with him, and I'll probably touch on that another day. But for Trunks, we're just gonna specifically talk about omitting his 2M in block strings, so you keep all your options open, right? So they're just not always blocking high. Because if you never use your low, you're able to kind of get away with using your highs for like plus flames, or, you know, just keeping them on their toes, right? Because you know, regular light shiny slash is actually dumb fast, and heavy is even faster. So I think it's only like 2 frames faster, yeah. So you know, only use this really like if you want to keep your turn, and then you can make things a little bit more ambiguous with you know, or more RPS situation-esque, I guess. But I'll talk a little bit more about the feint because I use this a lot specifically, and I don't want people to start staggering with his buttons, because once you get to around this point, he's -5 on literally every string that is safe, right? Like he's -5 off of Ki Blast, he's -5 off lights, 2L, he's -5. They're all 6 frames, but it's like he can't really go back into a string that quick, and plus his 5L does not reach as far as other characters does. He doesn't move forward, he doesn't do, you know, he doesn't do any different motion, he doesn't move back, you know, so you can get like a plus on block, you know, 6M. It's just like his 5L needs work. So speaking about the feint, I'll go back to the other few strings that I use so that you guys can actually start practicing. I'll show those really quick, and then I'll probably end off the video. So of course I was talking about 2L 5L, right? And then you restart your string. 2L 5L 5M, I like to use that a lot. And I also use frame trap, either this into this into that, or you can use like that, right? But a lot of people, I don't really like to use the 5S into feint a lot, because if you do it once or twice, people are already starting to become a little bit more aware of the Ki Blast coming out, and then you don't do anything after, so they can easily super dash, which is why I heavily advise that people start using regular normal into feint rather than using his 5S, because that is like an indicator to most opponents, right? That he's gonna, you know, you're either gonna use a special move or you're gonna use your heavy, and they're either gonna reflect, which you would want if you're doing feint, or they're going to just super dash you, right? But then that's where the whole RPS situation goes, because that means your opponent has to choose an option to commit to. It's either they're gonna commit to block and you can take your turn, they're gonna commit to reflect and you can bait it and then take that punish, or they're going to super dash and actually guess right. Because if you super dash, I think if you super dash instantly, they'll hit you. But if they're trying to react with super dash, you'll pretty much be able to block out of that situation. But yeah, with feint specifically, you can mix this up a lot, to be honest. Like if you use feint early on, it really trips people up a lot, and I'm use this against a lot of good people, and it's hard for them to, you know, be ready, right? It just makes it like mad hard for people to kind of just be ready for that. But it's like, it's not really a mix-up, but it's more like people get startled, right? They get startled and then they make mistakes. Either they try to jump, or they try to, you know, they press a button and then they get counter hit because they're trying to react, but they're reacting too late, because by that time they're like they start getting jumpy. You end up, you know, pressing a button and then it's like counter, and pretty much your boy got smoked. It's pretty much that simple. I just wanted to let people know that you can apply a certain stagger to the to his game, like his game plan, and it just makes his I guess it makes his offense a little bit more harder to deal with, because then it's like you can use 2L 5L, which makes it seem like you're setting up for a Dragon Rush, but then you use feint, or you use 2L 5L medium slash and you're guaranteed plus frames, right? And a lot of people get mixed up when I use medium off of 2L 5L instead of light, because they think that I'm doing this, because the light one I'm minus, but the medium one, if I do 2L 5L, I'm still plus. So if I press a button, they're gonna get countered. So like I was saying, it's like you have to keep all your options pretty much open when it comes to your block strings with Trunks. I always try to keep my block strings short, short and sweet, honestly, so they don't get dragged out and my opponent gets impatient. Because then it's like if they get impatient, then they're either gonna get reflect crazy, and then that's when we start, you know, throwing in the feints with the 5S, or they're gonna start super dashing and make like stupid decisions that you can kind of capitalize on. But when you keep your things your block string short, you know, you can kind of be elusive most of the time, and then it makes things less predictable on Trunks' side, right? On your side, where, you know, you can start throwing in your shining slashes because everything's so short. They can't look for, you know, patterns, right? Because if you're doing this 5H and then you do that, like that becomes a pattern when they see 5H 2H, and then they're like, oh, he's gonna do a special move at the end because he does 5H 2H every time. Like, you don't want to make it different every time, which is why I do a lot of different things, like, and it just kind of like, it makes things really hard to react to. Like, if you're really out here like not autopiloting and you're really trying to like play the game and, you know, see what's going on between you and your opponent, it's hard. Like, and I don't care what anybody says, this is actually a lot faster than like one would think. I always prefer throwing out your slash before your low. Do not throw your low out and then do slash. If you're gonna do slash, throw out your slash first before you even thinking about doing your low. And that's the same with Dragon Rush, because if in this situation where you do 2L 5L, you have 3 to maybe 4 options, right? You can do 2L 5L DR, you can do 2L 5L shining slash, you can do 2L 5L into plus frames, and I think plus frames option off of 2L 5L is a lot better, because one, people think that the long pause before they get hit by the shining slash is actually going to be a DR. Like, believe it or not, a lot of people get hit by this when I play, and you guys even seen it on my streams and stuff. So, like, it's not like I'm lying to y'all. Like, it's really a thing. You stay, like, you know, unpredictable rather. But, you know, that's all I have for today. Honestly, I just want to let you guys know, kind of like how to make Trunks' stagger game a little bit better. I'm not really gonna call it much of a stagger game. It's more like, I guess it's more like RPS, you know. So I hope this helped, you know, all y'all Trunks mains, stuff like that, on the way to mastery. And, you know, maybe I wanna start seeing y'all, you know, implement this as much as I do, because honestly it helps a lot, really. I'm actually starting to kind of like go through the motions with like Trunks videos at this point. So if you guys want to see something specific, like, hit me up in the comments. It really doesn't matter. Hit me up on Twitter, or even like slide in on the Twitch, bruh, when I start streaming. But yeah, so hit me up in the comments with ideas that you want to see, or if you want me to like explain some things, show y'all some stuff, or even if you want matches of like how I be applying all this and stuff like that, so you guys can visually see like what I'm talking about in game. Like, just let me know, and I'll get that shit done, bruh. Alright, y'all, I'm gonna catch y'all on the TK flip for sure. Peace out, y'all.